but we know there's considerable upside to rare earth pricing. If we look at where we were just 18 months ago, we were some 100% higher in pricing. So yes, there's lots of upside, and there's lots of upside to the value of that resource that we'll extract out of Phalaborwa.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by George Bennett, the CEO of Rainbow Rare Earths. George, very good to speak with you today. You've released an updated JORC-compliant mineral resource update for your Phalaborwa resource, and it looks like very positive news.
Yes, thanks. And once again for having me on your show. No, it is very positive news. It's confirmed that the project life of the mine has gone from 14 years to 16 years. The resource was at 32 million tons. We now sit at 35 million tons. And also, very importantly, the resource categories have moved up in terms of JORC regulations into with a higher confidence level. But be that as it may, we've seen the inferred go from 23% in the original resource down to 11%, and all of that's moved into the M&I category, which is very positive. But because of the homogeneous nature of the mineralization in our stacks, this resource is a 0.2% cutoff grade, it's confirmed that we will basically process circa 98 to 99% of these stacks. So the whole resource will be processed, meaning that we'll be able to extract all the value out of the Phalaborwa project that sits in that resource.
You do highlight 4 rare earth elements that are prevalent in the resource, including 2 light weight elements and 2 heavyweight elements. Tell us why these are so crucial.
Yeah, we've always been focused on what we call the permanent magnet rare earths, being neodymium, praseodymium, the lights, and dysprosium and terbium, the 2 heavies. And these are critical for permanent magnets that go into consumer electronics, your iPhones, your handheld drills, your drones, and etc. But very importantly, also, what's now driving demand for this is the growth in electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles, as well as wind turbines that require permanent magnets in their drives.
So where do these position Rainbow Rare Earths then? If you're looking at the supply-demand outlook, global outlook, does this place you very, very strongly?
We believe it does. We know that we are a very low-cost producer, as confirmed by a PEA that we published in October 22, and which will be confirmed by our DFS, or our bankable feasibility study, or our definitive feasibility study that we're busy with right now. And basically, as probably the lowest cost producer of these separated rare earth oxides in the world, these 4 permanent magnet oxides, it puts us in a very strong position that even at the low pricing environment that we see today, Rainbow would be profitable, unlike most projects in the world.
You also note in today's RNS that the updated mineral resource update gives you an in-situ metal oxide value of $3.7 billion for REEs with considerable upside potential. What upside potential are you seeing there?
Well, one has to take that in-situ resource value and multiply it by your recovery, which at the moment is 66%. So if you then put the recovery after that, it's closer to $2.5 billion of rare earths that we'll recover out of these stacks. But very importantly, we're at the low level of the price of the pricing environment right now. We've seen pricing improve recently from circa $47 a kilogram for NdPr up to $60 a kilogram, or 60,000 tons a kilogram. So we have seen prices are starting to increase over the last 4 weeks. And this is because, even the Chinese producers were losing money at these low rare earth prices. So that has, and all the forecasters predicted an increase in rare earth prices into the second half of this year, and we're starting to see that. But we know there's considerable upside to rare earth pricing. If we look at where we were just 18 months ago, we were some 100% higher in pricing. So yes, there's lots of upside, and there's lots of upside to the value of that resource that we'll extract out of Phalaborwa.
George, following the release of the mineral resource update today, what are the next milestones that investors should be looking out for?
Well, as I said, we will be releasing a DFS in the end of the first quarter of next year, early in the second quarter. But ahead of that, we'll be releasing a preliminary number as part of that DFS, which will allow the market to get a good sense of what the final DFS number will be like coming out in 2025. So that preliminary update on our DFS we're expecting in in November this year.
George, I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
That's George Bennett, the CEO of Rainbow Rare Earths.